All right. So this diagram allows you to take things with two different categories. So in this case, we have got popularity and we have contribution margin, and we're going to sort them into one of four different subcategories. In this case, we have star, plow horse, dog, and puzzle. Okay. I'm going to demonstrate today how we utilize this and how we find out which items are going to go into this, into each section. But essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to analyze our menu. Okay. If something is highly popular, okay, and it is above the average contribution margin, they intersect right here at the star category. Okay. If something has low popularity, which means people just don't really like it, people maybe don't order it all that much, okay? And it's below the average of our contribution margin, well, then that's considered the dog category, okay? The puzzle is low popularity, but it's high contribution margin, which means people don't order it, but it makes me a lot of money, right? It makes me a lot of money. I have more profit, but for whatever reason, I'm puzzled, I'm confused, if you will, as to why people aren't ordering it. I'm confused as to why it's not popular. That's how I distinguish between puzzle. And plow horse, it's really popular, but it doesn't make me a lot of money. But everybody loves it. So it might be like a signature dish that everybody loves. But for whatever reason, my recipe means that I don't get as much money, as much profit. I'm still covered, okay? This isn't like the cupcakes from last week where we spent more money on the ingredients than we actually sold it for. In this case, we still are making money, it's just not as much. Okay? That's a very high level overview. Now, let's turn to this document right here. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is our contribution margin. Oops, let me get to that slide. Here we go. Our contribution margin. So remember, our contribution margin is all that non-food costs minus or plus all of the profit and then the food cost. All right. So to find our contribution margin, we are going to want to subtract our menu price, subtract what the recipe actually cost us to make. Okay. We want to subtract what the menu price, what the recipe actually costs us to make. So if it costs me $3.50 to make the chicken sandwich and I sell it for $9.95, what is my contribution margin? $6.45. Okay. So it's as simple as that. I take my menu price, I subtract the recipe costs, and that gives me my contribution margin. So I subtract $7.50 minus $2.75 to make it. And what's left over is that $4.75. And that's what contributes to my non-food costs and my profit. Okay. So our crab cakes, what is our contribution margin? $4.20. Good. And last but not least, our chili cheeseburger, $6. Okay. Now, if you have the handout, it's the rest of it is already given to you. It's gonna go ahead and fill it in. All right. So if we go back to that square diagram, we have low and we have high, right? Those are the two categories. So how do we know what's low and what's high? It's a great question. Glad you asked. How we figure that out is we have to find the average contribution margin. How do you find the average of any number, any group of numbers? How do you find the average of anything?
Put it all together.
We add them all up and then we what?
Divide by how many there are.
Divide by the number. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're gonna divide that by 8 items. So go ahead and add up all of your contribution margins. When we add them all up, what do we get? 40, 44 and how many cents? Say it real loud. 10 cents, thank you. Okay, do we all agree? $44.10?
Yeah.
And now when we divide that by 8, what do we get?
5.51.
Okay, so $5.51 is our average. That's what our goal is. So $5.51. So now we take a look. Is 645 higher or lower than the average?
Higher.
It's higher, right? $6.45 is higher than $5.51. That means the contribution margin of the chicken sandwich is higher than the average. Okay. How about the hamburger? Is it higher or lower? It is lower. Good. Crab cakes? Lower. Chili cheeseburger? Higher. So is our bacon cheeseburger. BLT? Lower than the average. Corn dogs? Of course, it's higher than the average. And veggie burger? Higher. So on the back side of our page, on the contribution margin side, go ahead and write your higher and lower. You don't have to write the whole word high or low. You can just write the H and the L. Okay. So on the back side of the page, go ahead and on that column, the last two columns, we have our contribution margins. We have high and low. We also want to make sure that at the very bottom where it says average contribution margin, average CM, go ahead and put that $5.51 right there. That, bless you, that will help you remember how you got the high and low. Okay. Questions about contribution margin. That is the easier of the two. We're subtracting, and then we add them all up and divide by the number we have. Okay. Let's go back to percentages and popularity. All right. So back on the front side of our page. Okay. At the top, it says the steps to calculate popularity index. Everybody see that? So the first step, we want to add all items served. Add all items served. The second step is to divide each item by the total. So let's take a look up here. If I add up all of the ingredients or all the items that we served for this entire week, I would get 4,845. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back up here to each one of these. This is step number 2. is 4,845. When I divide by that, I get a 17.9% popularity. Popularity is a percentage. So what is the universal formula for the percentage?
Part divided by whole time.
Part divided by the whole, right? This is my part. That's a bad color. Hold on. This is the part. And this is the whole right here. So we divide part divided by the whole. And that will give you your percentage for each item that's sold. That's how popular something is. How do we check our own work? To know that we were right.
The percentage are the whole.
Well, not quite. If we add up all the percentages, what should we get?
100%.
We should get 100%. Okay. So let's use our paper here. Before we do that, let's do number 1 and number 2. If we sold 64 entrees, so 64 steak, and the whole is 320 total for the whole menu, what is our percentage? 0.2, we multiply by 100 and we get 20%. So if I sold 64 steaks and that 64 was part of the 320 total items that I served that meal period, then that means my steaks are 20% popular. What about the next one? Number 2. We sold 25 chicken, and they were, of the 75 total, 25 were chicken. What is our percentage?
33.
Okay, so we move that decimal place over. We've got 33.3%. So basically 1/3. Okay. So let's get a little bit more practice. I have added all of these for you. You are welcome. Okay. So this is 500 menu items that we sold. So now what we're going to do is we're going to divide each one of these by 500. If I were you, especially if you're just now learning this concept, I would go ahead and write divided by 500 next to every single one. That allows you to remember why you did divide by 500. So circle the bottom, 500, and then divide. So I do have the first 4 given to you already. You can check your work up on the screen for the last 4. So our bacon cheeseburgers are 20% popular. Our BLTs are 16% popular. Corn dogs, 4%. And veggie burgers are 6%. Okay. What is our highest popularity percentage? The bacon cheeseburgers at 20. What is our lowest?
Corn dogs.
Corn dogs. Okay. That's easy. But how do we figure out the other 6? Which one is high? Which one is low? Okay. Go ahead and flip your page over to the back and let's talk about this. Flip your page over to the back. There's a section right here that has really kind of small print. It says the menu mix popularity benchmark. Okay. Menu mix and popularity are interchangeable. Menu mix. Basically, it's the mix of all the items that we served, right? The percentage. For whatever reason, popularity takes it one step further. It's not just simply the average. We have to first find the average, but then we also want to apply a benchmark factor. This benchmark factor for my assignments will always be given to you. Okay? You as a business owner, when you get out to the industry, you're going to decide what that benchmark factor is. Okay? So the way we do this is number one, we divide 100% by the menu items. So in this case, how many menu items do we have? We have 8. So 100% divided by 8 gives me what? 12.5%. So 12.5% is the average percentage. Should we all agree? We take 100, divide by 8, the average is 12.5. But what our popularity benchmark says is we want to do 5 or 75% of the average. So we're going to take that average, but now we're going to multiply it by the factor that's given. Okay, multiply by the factor given. And I'm going to put factor given because why? It's not always going to be 75. It might be 80. It might be 90. Okay, whatever that factor that's given, that's what you're going to multiply by. So what is 12.5 times 0.75? 9.37, okay? So let's call it 9.4%. This 9.4 is my benchmark. That's what I'm going to compare, okay? So is 15 higher or lower than 9.4?
Higher.
It is higher. What about 17? Good. 8? 8 is lower. Excellent. Now, a lot of times some students get confused and they flip it. They're like, oh, 9.4 is higher than 8. But what we're doing is we want to compare the items percentage to the average, the benchmark. So 14 is higher. 20 obviously is higher. 16, 4, and 6. All right. So right here on the bottom of this chart on the back side, you're going to put 9.4 in this bottom box right here. That's our average popularity benchmark. And then the $5.51 is our average contribution margin. So now let's put it all together. And then our contribution margin, high, low, high, high. All right. You have the square already. I'm going to draw my square here. Contribution margin, low and high. Popularity, high and low. Okay. So we have star, dog, plow horse, and puzzle. So those are our categories. All right. Which two categories do you think would be the easiest to identify just by looking at this chart right here? Which two are the easiest to identify? So dog is 1. Why?
2 L's.
Because it's 2 L's. And what's the opposite of that?
Highs.
Star, which is 2 highs. So what I would recommend as you are analyzing this, do not, everyone put your pencils down, look at me. Do not go item by item by item. Go category by category. So that way, as you're going through, you already have what you're looking for. So let's look at the stars first. Star is high, high. So our chicken sandwich is high, high. And then while I have double H in my head, I'm going to come over here. Oh, chili cheeseburger, bacon cheeseburger. And that's it. Okay. Then let's go the opposite. Dog is the easiest. LL, crab cakes. There's no more LL. So we're good. Next, pick one. Okay. So let's go with a hamburger. We have high popularity. See, high popularity and low contribution margin. Those come together at the plow horse. So high and low, high popularity, low contribution. That's my hamburger. Now, while I have that combo in my head, HL, I'm going to go down. And what's left is my BLT. And then finally, the last one is LH and LH. So low contribution, or sorry, low popularity, but high contribution margin, meaning it's above the average contribution margin. So that's going to be my corn dogs and my veggie burger. Okay. So your square on the back side of your page should look just like the square that I have up here. Well, maybe not just like, 'cause if you don't have color coding, that's fine. But it should have all that information inside that square. Okay. Everybody take your hand, lift it straight up in the air. Turn your arm around, bend your elbow, and pat yourselves on the back. You have now completed your first menu analysis. Give yourselves a round of applause. Okay. You have analyzed your first menu. But it doesn't stop there. It's not a one and done. Okay. Let's talk about this menu. Let's talk about this menu. So our stars, chicken sandwich, chili cheeseburger, bacon cheeseburger. Those are our stars. How might we draw people's attention to those on our menu?
Illustrating them.
Okay, we might include a picture with them. Okay, cool. What else? Have you been to a menu where like you open the menu and right next to an item, there's maybe like a star, like a literal star, and it draws your attention to that item, right?
Customer's favorites.
That's a customer's favorite. Is it really though? Or does it just make us a lot of money? So we want to draw your attention to it so you buy more of it. Okay. There is a whole philosophy and psychology around menu development. It is insane. But drawing your attention to that. Okay. Let's look at our dogs, crab cakes. So if we have a dog on our menu, like in this case, it's crab cakes, do we just get rid of it? So it's going to make us a little bit of money, right? Because it's just below the average contribution margin. So it's still making us money. We don't lose money on it unless if we order so much ingredients and we don't sell it that often, we have to throw product away, then yes, we're going to be losing money, right? Is crab a cheap ingredient? We're not talking imitation crab. We're talking about real crab, okay? It's not a cheap ingredient. So do we look at the crab cakes as just getting rid of them? But what about those people that really like crab cakes? What if we're known for our crab cakes? What if people come to us because our crab cake is their favorite crab cake? Take it off our menu, what's going to happen?
There's customers.
We might lose some customers, okay? So what's a solution we might consider?
Add a new menu. Doing it interchangeably, like on certain days.
Okay, so maybe we have just on the special. Okay, so just on a specific day. Cool. What else? There's something else over here.
Add something with crab in it.
Say it again, sorry.
Make a new menu item with crab.
Okay, so maybe we might revise that menu item. Okay, so maybe the recipe is too expensive. Excuse me. What if our recipe or what if our portion is too big, and that's why our cost is so high? So maybe if we shrink the recipe, then maybe that might contribute to more of our contribution margin. But if we change our recipe, what could happen?
Those people who liked it. won't
People who
like
liked it may not like it anymore. How many of you ever experienced that? Your favorite thing on the menu, you go back to a restaurant, it doesn't taste the same.
it.
They change their menu, they change their recipe, right? So that impacts the guest experience. We might also make it seasonal, right? It's seafood. So maybe during Lent, we'll have a crab cake when people aren't eating red meat as much. But then once Lent happens and is over with, then maybe we'll take it off the menu, like the McRib. Everybody gets so excited when the McRib comes back, right? It's a big, huge ordeal. Oh my gosh, the McRib is back at McDonald's. Everybody rushes out to go get that compressed pork meat, okay? And they're so excited for it because they bring it out seasonally. Otherwise, if it's on our menu the whole time, people may not order it, okay? Let's talk about our plow horse and our puzzles real quick. So our puzzles, they're not very popular, but they make us money. That corn dog and the veggie burger. Would we get rid of those? Because they're not very popular. Why might you not get rid of the corn dog or the veggie burger?
They not be as ordered as much, but they still make back what they
Okay,
sell.
so they're not being ordered as much, they're not super popular, but at least they're making us more than the average contribution margin. Okay, why else might we not get rid of those two items? What is unique about those two items? So vegetarian is the only vegetarian option we have on our menu. So if we get rid of that, then we have no vegetarian option on our menu. Okay, now to make it more popular, we might do a feature, we might do a special, right? We might have our servers go up and ask people, hey, have you tried our veggie burger? Or if we call it a veggie burger, someone's like, ew, gross, veggie burger. But maybe it's a black bean burger. That sounds a little bit more appetizing than veggie burger. Okay. Corn dogs. Who doesn't love a corn dog? Let's be honest. I love corn dogs. I can eat a whole box, which I shouldn't do, but they're kid friendly. And so maybe that's why they're not so popular because kids, maybe it's just not ordered that much because it's a kid friendly thing. But if they're frozen, they don't take up that much space in the freezer and they have a longer shelf life. Just keep them on hand, right? So now let's talk about those plow horses. Last category, hamburgers and BLTs. Let's focus on the BLT. Okay, super popular. Everybody loves it. But it's below that average contribution margin, which means we don't make as much money. So there's two options we have to make more money off of our BLT. What's one of our options?
Raise that,
Say that again, Jan.
raise the price.
Raise the selling price. So if we sell our BLTs for $7.95, maybe we sell them for $8.95 or $9.95. Okay. Now my BLT, I don't know if you guys are like me, my BLT has like 8 pieces of bacon on it because I want it to be like a good BLT. How many of you get a BLT and there's like hardly any bacon on it? And you're like, what? That should be like an LTB. Like bacon should be the last ingredient. So maybe we revise our menu item. Maybe we take, instead of 8 pieces of bacon, maybe we use 4 pieces of bacon. That's going to reduce the cost, but we keep it selling it at $7.95. There it again, bless you. What happens if people come to your place because your BLT has 8 pieces and everybody else has 4 pieces, and that's why they like your BLT? And then you change the recipe, and they don't like it anymore.
Can't
Okay.
go down from 8 to 4. That's just.
That's a pretty drastic, like 8 to 4 is maybe like 8 to 6, maybe,
Mhm.
right? See how that goes. And that's the whole point of this. Once you make those changes, then after a certain period of time, you do your analysis again and see how those changes impacted your overall performance. Okay. So that's what we're going to do on Thursday is we're going to do a menu analysis. Okay. And then we're going to do a second menu analysis with some changes that have been implemented. And we're going to be able to identify which categories changed, which items changed categories. Okay. Now, before we do that, before you leave in the last few minutes of class, about 10 more minutes, I want to actually let me finish up this PowerPoint before we go on. So when we are considering making revisions, we have to ask ourselves, is the menu the problem? So maybe people just don't draw, people's attention isn't drawn to those menu items. Or is the problem operational? Is the recipe too much? Does the recipe cost us too much? Are the ingredients too expensive? So is it operational or is it the menu the problem? Okay. I'll give you one quick example. I used to work at Chester's Hamburgers. Anybody ever eaten at Chester's Hamburgers? Okay. There's like 4 stores around San Antonio. It's a local San Antonio burger place. When I worked there, we had chicken sandwiches, burgers, and hot dogs. That was it. Those are the 3 things that you could order, except for like a grilled cheese, right? But now they have salads, they have ice cream, they have wings. And so, how do you get people who have been coming to your restaurant for the longest time and they're focused on their menu item that they always get? How do you get them to branch out or try new things? Okay, that's where the menu becomes to play. Menu, we want to add some different maybe promotional items. Maybe we want to put some little cards on the table. So as they're waiting for their food, they can flip through those little cards and see the items that are available that are new. Okay. So how do we get people to draw their attention to that area? All right. So I am going to break from my normal 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning assignment due date. So this popularity benchmark and average contribution margin, this homework is going to be due on Thursday before you come to class at 2 o'clock. So I'm going to change it because what I want you to do is I want you to be really comfortable with the average contribution margin and that popularity benchmark. I want you to be comfortable with those 2 concepts. It's going to make class on Thursday go a lot faster. Okay. So to do this homework, I'm going to show you. And so you can refer back to this recording, the last probably like 5 minutes of the recording. You can just skip all the way to the end to help you review the homework. There are 16 questions. Okay. Average contribution margin. Remember, we subtract the menu cost, the recipe cost from the menu price. That will give us our contribution margins. That's the first step. Then you take this answer and we divide by 1, 2, 3, 4. Divide by 4, and that gives you your average contribution margin. That's what you're going to put in right here. Okay. So you first have to find the contribution margins for each item, add them all up, and then divide by 4 to get the average contribution margin. Okay. Questions about that? That's questions 13, 14, 15, 16, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah. So 13, 14, 15, 16. Those last 4 is contribution margin. 1 through 12. Let's take a look. You'll notice that these numbers and the percentage are the same for questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. What changes between the questions is the category that we're looking at. So the first question, we're only looking at the appetizers. The second question, we're looking at only the salad category. The third question, we're only looking at the entrees. And the fourth question, we're only looking at desserts. Questions so far? Okay, that's questions 1 through 4. Questions 5 through 8. You'll notice is a different percentage and different numbers for the categories. So questions 5 through 8, different numbers and different percentages. This is giving you that repetition, that practice of over and over again, finding that popularity benchmark. Okay, so remember, popularity benchmark is 100% divided by the number of items. That's going to give you your average popularity. Then we are going to multiply by the percentage given. Oops, percentage given. So in this case here, if we're looking at appetizers for question 5, what's 100 divided by 5?
25.
20% is my average. And now I'm going to multiply by 0.80. And what is my answer? My answer is should be 16.
16. Yeah, it's 16.
16%. Okay. So my answer is 16. That is my answer of my popularity benchmark. That's what I would use to compare all the popularity numbers to 16 to determine what is higher or lower. Okay. Then I come down to question number 6. And question number 6, the percentage is the same, 80% is the same, but instead, I'm now looking at salads. So what is 100 divided by 4? 25%. And then I'm going to multiply by that same 0.8. And I get what? Go ahead. 20. Okay. Question 7, I'm going with the entree. Question 8, I'm going with dessert. All while maintaining this 80%, right? And then question 9, we have 95%. So new numbers, 95%. Okay, so again, this is just you practicing over and over and over again. Let's check our work on those two. Look at that. We got 2 out of 16, which means we only answered 2 questions, which means we got them right. All right. So this is going to be due before you come to class at 2 o'clock on Thursday. Okay. Thank you all so much. I'll get this video posted as soon as possible.